now brings us to council reports. Councilman Emanuel.
Community is a word that we hear quite a bit lately, and I think you didn't get a better example of what community means than this past Saturday on the green. We had a concert, we had a wedding, and we just had a really good time along with a birthday party for Snellville. And the lawn was packed, the entertainment was outstanding. If you ever have a chance to see the Metro Jazz Club, they're really exceptional. Be sure you get out and see them. And it's a local band as well right here in Snellville. Next weekend, we're going to do it all again, except we're going to have fireworks and no wedding, which sometimes is the same thing. But but this is going to be official fireworks, and I encourage everybody to come out. We're also going to have the groundbreaking for the Veterans Memorial, and I think this is going to be another outstanding day and an outstanding day of community. As has been brought up many times, this is election season. And I would advise you to listen carefully, listen to the people who are running, listen to some of the statements that are made, some of the allegations that are made. And I'd like to address one issue. Section 2.14 of the Charter, political activities of certain officers and employees. No appointed officer and no employee of the city shall continue in such employment upon qualification as a candidate for nomination or election for any public office. Again, the operative words here are appointed officer and employee. People who are not employees of the city, not appointed to boards by the city, are not subject to that. Keep that in mind as you listen on, and enjoy your evening.
I actually have a report tonight. I have a few comments to make. Again, a reminder, if you have not signed up for Code Red, please do so. It seems like the weather is getting a little ornery as we get into the fall season. A comment about the COOP. You hear me talk about the COOP. It's the continuity of operations planning. And I just want to reassure you that the staff is working diligently with the COOP, and what we're working on presently is if something were to happen to City Hall where we would have to evacuate and we would not be allowed in for a period of time, we are working with a sister city to see if we would be able to locate in that area. So we are still working on it. This is a big part of the COOP, and there is no template, I understand, anywhere in the country that has this COOP. So we need to pay attention to every detail and make sure that it is precise, correct, legal, and it's going to take a while. I told you several months ago that this COOP might take up to 2 years to get it together. I'm hoping it's not going to take that long, but we are working diligently at that. I would also like to say goodbye to a friend. Drew Tyree is the Associate Chief Operating Officer at Eastside Medical, and he has accepted a promotion to become the Chief Operating Officer at Stonecrest Medical Center in Smyrna, Tennessee. And I'm very happy for him, but I'm also saddened that he's leaving the community. And he also sent me an email, and I will just, not going to go into detail, but Eastside Medical is having their 10th annual Gwinnett Community Clinic Golf Classic. And if you're interested, I'll be happy to give you some information about it. I would also ask anybody that belongs to the Snellville Citizens Police Academy alumni, would you stand up, please? I want to personally thank you for all the work that you have done in the past month for the Criminal Investigations Division. You have done a considerable amount of man hours. You have helped with that case, and I just personally thank you very much for all that you do for the Snellville Police Department, as well as all the help that you have given them in the last month. And for the businesses in Snellville, just kind of a heads up, the Department of Labor released the long-awaited exchange notice and the update on COBRA. All employees covered under the Fair Labor Standards Act are subject to the exchange notice requirement. The DOL's Wage and Hour Division provides an internet compliance assistant tool to determine if an employer is subject to the Fair Labor Standards Act. And this is due, this has to be completed by October 1st. It's just a reminder. I'd have to go several upgrades to be able to explain this to you. I just know that it has to be completed by October 1st. It's a very complicated, it's related to the health care reform. I know that if it is hand-delivered by your employer, there has to be a signed document stating that you did receive it. So please make sure that you speak to your employer about your health care reform. Thank you.
Councilman Howard.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Out there. Okay, good. Councilman Emanuel mentioned earlier about community and the things that, that we're doing. And, of course, it's always wonderful when we get to do something for the first time. And the wedding, you'll probably hear a little more from Mayor Pro Tem Witts about that. But I was one of the parties that was asked to participate in that. And I guess for the sake of no other words to say, I guess I was runner-up best man. So, whatever that is. That's it. So, wasn't exactly sure, but I was proud to be a part of that, and proud of our city for doing it. I mean, quite honestly, the wonderful opportunity and the bride and groom and just the families being there was just a testament to what our community really is. And so I was very proud of that, and I continue to be amazed at the volunteers and the people that get involved in this city. We absolutely, bar none, have some of the best people that grace this city. And there's many more out there. We just got to figure out how to get them all out here. And so it's always good. It's always good. And so one other thing I'd like to do is that I certainly want to thank, number one, the entire city of Snellville for letting me have the opportunity to serve in this position as council member. I take this position very, very seriously and very proudly. And I thank you for the confidence over the last 2 years that I've been here. Now, with that said, I did qualify today for re-election, and I'll leave it at that. We'll get into as the mayor put it, it's campaign season in Snellville. So with that segue, I'll talk about that little bit of a Snellville politics and campaign season in Snellville. When I ran a couple of years ago, there was a campaign that was investigated by our, as you heard earlier, tremendously great Snellville Police Department that included some anonymous mailings that I was partial to receive them. I was sent some. I received some. I got absolutely things I couldn't believe. So through an investigation of our police department with that, some things were discovered. And I guess here tonight, I want to just say publicly that, Erica, could you come here, please, and put this on the overhead for me, please? And I always told you I'd be positive at my council comments, but I've also told you that I'm going to say some things that I think need to be said. Here's my phone number, okay? What happened 2 years ago in September the anonymous mailings, all the things that were very hurtful. I'm saying tonight that it's time for this type of activity to stop in the city of Snellville. And with the 2013 election coming up, I can almost guarantee, in fact, it happened tonight prior to me sitting in this chair, that we will see more of this type of activity. It will continue, be more vicious, and be directed at myself, other candidates, and innocent people that are fighting for the city we love. Those connected to this report and the known associates of these people will stop at nothing to inflict as much harm and damage as they can by the use of smear, innuendo, and outright lies. If you have any questions about the truthfulness of things that you've heard, please contact me directly, and that's my cell phone, and I'll be happy to discuss these facts with you. And that little green box sitting on the front steps down here is a copy of that report and a summary of those findings. If you're so inclined to see who is involved in some of these things within our city, it's a matter of public record. I simply did nothing more than ask for the public record, reprint it, and make it available to the citizenry. So in that little green box right there, if you want to help yourself to one of those reports, you help yourself to it. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I won't participate in that. I simply won't do it. And I'm going to ask for it to stop in the city of Snellville. It is time for it to end. I continue to be proud of my service as I sit here on this dais. I continue to be proud of the people that work in this city, that love this city with all their heart. And am I saddened that these kind of things will continue? Probably, yes, I'm saddened by it. And I'm saddened that me and my family and other people will be affected by it. Yeah, I am. But it's time for it to stop. I love this city. It's the only place I've been for this long a period of time. Those that want to hurt me will hurt me. Nothing I can do about it. But if any one of them have ever taken a step in the shoes that I wear, I challenge them to come and see me. With that said, thank you all for being here. Shop locally. Have a nice trip home.
Mayor Pro Tem Witz.
I hesitate to say what I'm going to say because I think that someone, because it'll be twisted, that I'm trying to defend Barbara Bender. And anyone who knows Barbara Bender knows that she absolutely does not need Tom Witz to defend her. But I was a little bit taken back tonight. Here's a person who served 6 years on this council, lost her race, stayed heavily involved in the city. In 2010, her and I, along with the city attorney at the time, Mr. Powell, drafted and started the SEC. Did that in conjunction with the economic development program that Barbara and I started. And in 2011, after the election, Barbara took charge of that organization and became president of it. Right after that, there was some controversy over its organization, and the mayor demanded that become an absolute independent organization, which it became. And it works to support our economic development department, something that Ms. Bender has felt very strongly about as long as I've been on council. She comes up tonight, gives a very positive report about the good things that organization has done for this city over the past 2 years. Some things they've taken on that the city was charged to do and didn't do, so that organization picked it up and did the work and came here tonight and reported to you. And instead of thank you, she got, "Are you going to resign?" What are we about? Are we about making Snellville a place where all of us can do better and be better and together build a city that we all can be proud of and all say we had a part of making it? Or are we looking to see what the politics of it is? Right after that sentence was said, are you going to resign? We heard, it's political season in Snellville. Ms. Bender didn't come up here with any political agenda. She came up here to give a report on some achievements that her organization made that have bettered this city. Absolutely no political agenda whatsoever. The political agenda came from this side of the dais, not up there. And we need to open our eyes and see it. Because 2 weeks ago, we had our volunteers accosted verbally. Tonight, someone who I think has done an awful lot for the city was not even given a thank you, just the question, are you going to resign? I think we all need to think about that. Think about where it came from, and keep that in mind as you go through the rest of the meetings from now until November 5th. I've never mentioned politics. I don't know of anybody else. We go doing what we do every day, and we do all the time to try and make the city better. That's what we do. On the other side, Saturday night, please come to the Green for 7 o'clock when we break ground for our memorial. I am so excited that we are doing this after 2 years of trudging through brick sales and begging for money and getting approvals and doing everything we've got to do. We're going to be breaking ground, and on November 11th, the weekend of November 11th, the Snellville Eternal Flame will come back to Snellville forever. And that's something that I've wanted to do for 4 years, and we're going to get it done. And I hope you're all here Saturday night to see us kick it off when we turn over the first shovels of dirt to get that done. Thank you all for coming.
Good evening, and again, thanks for attending tonight. Since school started, I leave the house about 5:30, 5:40 in the morning, every morning. There's a lot of traffic out there, and often I stay behind, sometimes depending on my schedule, and I see a lot of kids still using the street to get to school. I'd like to bring this back up to the forefront. We need these sidewalks, and I do feel that it's pretty important. So I'd like to get my city council members to support me on this one as we move, hopefully in the near future, to get these sidewalks built and built pretty soon. As you saw tonight, one of the agenda items was brought up, and we did speak about the sidewalks in front of that business that was brought up, the realty business that was brought up. Saturday night, last weekend was a fantastic weekend, and I want to thank again Ms. McAloon for bringing such a fantastic cake. We couldn't move it because it was too heavy. I don't think any of us was strong enough to carry that thing, you know. So I appreciate that. Beautiful. It's a great photo op. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed taking pictures with it, and I'm looking forward to next weekend's event coming up. And I did to qualify to run again for a second term. Hope that we can move together without any inside fireworks, and just focus on the issues at hand that are city related. And I'm sure all of us can do it all together as a team, and I'm sure and I'm confident that it's doable. Appreciate you being here tonight.
Thank you, Councilman Zabag. Now for the mayor's report. Want to go back on one thing before I start the pictures, Erica. The Oak Road Passive Park, many of you may be thinking, what was the big deal about adding the Oak Road Passive Park to the agenda? And moving forward with the Passive Park is actually something that I've been asking for quite a long time. However, we are asking to allocate $150,000 of taxpayer money for work on Oak Road Passive Park. And so anytime we have an expenditure like that of taxpayer money, I believe that the taxpayers have a right to know that we're going to do that before we actually vote on something on the agenda. I'd like to also congratulate Eastside Hospital. I know Councilwoman Kraus mentioned this, but in addition to their golf tournament coming up, they recently received full accreditation for as a full chest pain center. So that was a huge step for them, and I want to congratulate them and also wish Drew good luck. There seems to be something about Tennessee. We keep losing good people to the state of Tennessee. Last council meeting, you heard us vote on the 2014 SPLOST agreement with Gwinnett County. Following that council meeting, if I can go ahead and get the first picture. We had a great meeting with the Gwinnett County Municipal Association. Mayor and council was there, along with the Chairwoman Nash and the county commissioners and the mayor and council members from each of the 16 counties here in Gwinnett County. Mr. Sanders and Ms. Arnold were there, and we all came together to work as a group on this 2014 SPLOST. And so this was the ceremonial signing of that agreement. So it is great. We have had a rocky history here in Gwinnett County, but it's great when all the cities and the county can come and work together. We also had the opportunity to go to the Temple Beth David recently. Mayor Pro Tem Witz, Councilwoman Kraus, Councilman Howard, and Councilman Emanuel attended along with myself. They received a new Torah, and this was a ceremony welcoming their new Torah, and that was it was eye-opening for me. It was only the second time I've been to the Temple Beth David. I'd like to thank Joan Miller for inviting us and allowing us to attend. You can do the next picture. We have something here in Gwinnett County. It's a special organization. We used to call ourselves the Lipstick Mayors, and it was the mayors in Gwinnett County that were all female. We've expanded, and we now call ourselves the Lipstick Leaders because it includes Chairwoman Nash, and 2 weeks ago, Senator Utterman joined us. So we are now the Lipstick Leaders, and I hosted this meeting 2 weeks ago here in the city of Snellville. And traditionally, we give small gifts, something associated with lipstick to each other when we get together for our lunch meeting. And I had a hard time thinking, what can I do that represents the city of Snellville? So before our meeting about 3 weeks ago, I went to the Snellville Farmers Market and got some natural lip gloss from the, my cell phone died, I don't have the name, I think it's Carol Farms, who is the meat distributor there, actually sells natural lip gloss, and we made goodie bags of things like that. My husband made them keychains and bumper stickers. And then we had Tracy Tasties from the Snellville Farmers Market that also made miniature cupcakes, 5 of them, and her logo is lips, so it fit in perfectly with the Lipstick Leaders. And so last weekend I went back to the farmers market to thank Tracy because they were wonderful cheesecakes, and so I wanted to thank her and give her a plug tonight for doing that. So thank you, Tracy's Tasties. This weekend we already talked about the Jazz Festival. Thank you to Councilman Sabag and Dexter Harrison for coming out there and helping me set up. And thank you to all the volunteers that came out there that day. I know it was a long day, especially for those that were at the farmers market. That evening we had the 90th birthday celebration. You all have seen the cake. It looked fabulous. Becky Evans and Karen Williams at Rhodes Bakery did a great job. So many people actually came inside. We thought it wasn't going to work out, Kelly, but so many people actually came inside to see the cake. And this was all the brainchild of Kelly McAloon. She did a great job. The Masons were there. Councilman Sabag had organized the Masons to carry the cake out into the green, but it was just too heavy. And so we wanted to thank the Masons, though, for showing up in full force, willing to help our city. If you'll hold on just for a minute on the last picture. It is election time here in the city of Snellville, and I am so glad I'm not running for election. I have 2 more years as your mayor, but it is an exciting time because for the first time in a long time, we had 6 people qualify today for election. We have 3 seats open for election, and we had 6 candidates qualify. So that means that every seat is going to have a contested election, which is a great thing in our city. We need to get more people involved in our city government, and thankfully more people are coming out this time for the election to run for election. You've all heard several times we've been talking about this Saturday. Last Saturday was fabulous. This Saturday is supposed to be even better. Mayor Pro Tem Witz is going to have his groundbreaking of his Veterans Memorial followed by the fireworks. And I haven't decided yet what to do because it's also the kickoff of the Georgia-Clemson game. And as a double dog. I'm supposed to be at the Georgia Clemson game, and it's the same time. So I have not quite decided if I'll be there or not. So I wanted to go ahead tonight and talk about this. For a long time, I've been looking over and thinking about the Veterans Memorial. And in the past couple of weeks, I've actually had some veterans contact me. Not about the memorial, but just in general. We had a veteran about maybe 3 weeks ago that sent Mr. Sanders and I an email, maybe a little bit longer than that. He had received a violation from our code enforcement office here in Snellville because he had broken shutter on his home. He was disabled, he had lost his job, and he was a veteran, and he couldn't afford to fix the broken shutter. And he had emailed me seeing if there was something we could do to help him. We were able to work with him, and we have that situation under control. But his is just one of many of the veterans we have out there that are on limited income. I have another friend, my college roommate. Her husband qualified today after 26 years serving the military. He's actually a sergeant major, which is the highest ranking of an enlisted officer. He qualified for retirement today. And it was bittersweet for them. He served in 4 different combat tours. And after 26 years, you can imagine he's pretty banged up. And so he has to retire. But they're going to have to wait a year to find out how much money he will actually make for retirement. So while they're waiting for the VA to make that determination, they're going to have to live off of one income. And they're going to have to cut back. So that got me to thinking that many of our men and women who have served our country can't afford to buy a brick on Mayor Pro Tem Witz's War Memorial. And these men and women have served our country, and so they shouldn't have to pay to be honored. And I wish I had the resources that I could buy every veteran here in Snellville a brick in the War Memorial, but I can't. So I would like to purchase a brick saying thank you to all of the veterans who have served our country for those who can't purchase a brick themselves. And I'd like to give that to Mayor Pro Tem Witz tonight. That is from my campaign funds. It's not from my personal money, but it is from my campaign funds.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor. I appreciate that, and obviously, if you had read some of the articles, if there's a veteran out there who can't afford to buy a brick, we certainly take that into consideration. We have, how many, Barbara? Probably 15 or 17 that are like that of people. I mean, we don't turn anyone away from the Veterans Memorial.
Mr. Blankenship, come forward and,
I'm Jared S. Blankenship, 2867 Overwood Lane. There's 2 or 3 subjects with the city that I have problems with. Number one is with the city manager and with the, I guess you'd call him planning and zoning. I sent a letter to him, I think about a month ago. It seems if you're a citizen like me, that they ignore you and they can't answer the letters. The second thing would be that I am disabled. I've tried to get the hearing straightened out, and I have totally been ejected over and over. I've got the letters to show you, to give you that if you ask for them, then I'll charge you 10 cents a copy like y'all do me, and you get the wrong letters, 7 letters that you don't ask for. As a handicap, the city, and I think you'll ask the attorney, is obligated to help you, especially if you send a letter and put the wrong word on it, or if you don't put a word in it. It's nice if they would send you a phone call, and that's what's on there. I don't know why they don't, they don't want to call you except to come get it and pick up the money. But they won't call you and ask you a question, is this right or is that right? They continuously send you the wrong stuff, and still they have denied my rights under disability on hearing. Y'all heard it in the meeting before. You have it in the meeting here tonight that I put the request. I got the open records and asked for the rules and regulations. Now they told me you got to wait 7 days to send it in. That was sent on 8/20, and I think at 7 days, if they would have got the right information back, I could have probably put the request in. So you can go from building to building and look at some of the things in which I've talked to the councilman here and see, and the attorney will tell you, you have to upgrade under ADA. It's not at one standard for a 50-year deal. But I do have a gift for the city. It's going to go in the office for what they've done to me, and the city clerk made it that they helped them free those, so I give her a piece of ice. And that's the way y'all have treated me. That's the way you can treated me. And then you say, oh, let's meet. We're not going to give you the rules. We're not going to give you the writing. Even our city manager wrote me a letter and said anything that is of interest to me that they would they would write it down, give me a copy of it, tell me a list of what's not supposed to be important to anybody that lives in the city. Just because I come up here once, if I come up here twice, the money, the people, the parks, you eliminate that and give me a list, or have him to give me a list and show me what I can't put in there when I ask for the open records, please. Because he said I can't ask but only if I'm here. And then they agreed tonight to give me one part, but they can't give me the other part because I said the wrong word in there. And, you know, they couldn't call me this morning to have 8 hours to do it. The city has 1 hour to get an interpreter if you arrest somebody. So why wouldn't it be that the council has to take 8 hours to get a voice interpreter when people can't hear or see or what's going on? And I really don't think they care.
Thank you, sir. Any additional public comment? Seeing none, that concludes our meeting. We are adjourned at 9:10. Thank you. Have a good evening home. Good, safe trip home.